Investigating, fellas. We've got ourselves a brand new exposal video on another cheater. Last time I did a quick exposal on NickXD, who is actually legitimate now, and this time we're gonna do another player who claims they've done fantastic runs of exasperation. This is this guy, who I'll just be calling Drip. He looks like he has done runs like 48% from 0, 51% from 0, 69% to 100%, and so on, which would be really impressive if it was legitimate. And unfortunately, this isn't impressive. And today, I would like to share with you why this guy cheats. Massive thanks to the people at the hardest achievements list. I'll leave a link to their Discord if you want to go join, because they have a very interesting list and help me gather evidence. If you ask me why I'm looking at this guy, even though he has like 500 subs, it's because like NickXD, he is starting to gain a lot of traction. And I know people knowingly believe him, but don't know if his runs are legitimate. So let's make this the quickest exposal video on this channel and jump right into my evidence. Starting us off, we're going to use the click variance technique. It is something I've been using for a very long time, well before the Space UK exposal. But for those who are curious, let me explain. Whenever you send an input to GD, there is usually a delay before the input actually registers. And when you record videos, the amount of frames it takes for us to actually see the input register has a very tiny range. Commonly, it's 1 to 2 frames, although depending on the video, it can change. Why does this happen? I don't know. It could be because the frame rate of the video and the frame rate of the game are different, leading to this frame variance. But the general consensus is that if you see an input registered outside of a standard range, that is a good indication it can be done by a bot. This is how Space UK cheated. For me personally, I do an extra step of just shifting the video over to where I get that 1 to 2 frame variance range and go from there. In my instance, I found 2 cases of clicks outside of this range. Take it away, Life Me. Okay, so here we have a live demonstration of this frame variance method. For this, I have a range of 2 to 3 frames, although I have to find a click that is actually audible. This is the starting frame, and then 1 frame, 2 frames, he jumps. You can look at the green CPS counter going from white to green, so look at the clicks per second counter if you have to. So, on this first one, I have a marker here. So again, a 2 to 3 frame variance range. So click 1, that is outside of the frame variance range. And if we go to like, here's an orbs. Yeah, click is right here. So it's click, roughly 1, 2, 3 frames. If we go back here as well, click 1 frame. So that was 3 frames, that was 1 frame. I literally just found another one without me even trying. So click 1, 2, he hit the orb, and then do it one more time. Click 1, 2 frames, click 1, 2, 3 frames, and then over here we have this part here. So click 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 4 frames. And that's just with a 2 to 3 frame variance range I was able to get from this video. So anything outside of that, which are these 2 clicks and the one I showed over there, that means it's a bot. There could be more of these odd click variances, but in botted videos, they are super hard to find, and I can only find these 2. But up next we have nerfs. Yes, despite the titles saying this is a buffed version, I have evidence that some parts in this copy are nerfed. At the moment, I found 2 instances again, one at 23% Kirby ship, and the other at the final gap of the final spam. There could be more nerfs, but these are the ones I was told and was able to quickly verify they're correct. But if you can find more nerfs, let me know and I'll heart your comment. Before I end this off on a closing note, yes, it is that short. There are a few more oddities I found while researching for this video, although I can't say these prove or disprove Drip for cheating. First is that on his 51% video at the timestamp 146 and 127, there is a double click in a ship part. Normally, this wouldn't be bad, but the click sounds are so not real. And normally, when you have a double click on a ship part, unless you have to double click orbs or have to spam in a ship, you typically do lighter clicks to further adjust your movement by a small amount of units. But if you try this in game, yeah, that is just not possible to do without dying, as that requires an alternating click. An alternating click is when you use your secondary hand and your primary hand to do higher spam, or to do parts that are just not possible to do with a single hand. You see this in levels like Death Corridor 2016 with the UFO part, Cimmerian Shade, etc. A similar instance happens at the timestamp 132, where we see a strange wave movement here. Now, you can pull this off in normal gameplay if you're forced to, but generally you have to do a quietish click to pull it off. You'll see this in Unknown with the first wave part, but I'll show this in an empty level. This is a strong indicator the clicks were either edited in or auto-placed by the bot. If you attempted to do that click pattern, you get a wave pattern like this. And finally, raw footage. We can't go on an exposing video without mentioning raw footage. I was planning to get raw footage, but considering how this guy acts to other people, the possibility of me getting raw footage is next to non-existent. Editor's note, because I didn't see this when editing the video, there is raw footage that Drip provided. However, this raw footage is not real and was rendered in DaVinci Resolve, another video editing program like Vegas Pro. I am not allowed to disclose publicly how this was rendered in DaVinci Resolve, but for the sake of this video, I can only say this was rendered in DaVinci Resolve, so this raw footage is just not real. Okay, and that's it. That is the exposing video on Drip. Not a whole lot of evidence, if I'm gonna be completely honest. The only other videos I can look at are his Sakupin Gert videos. Except for his no-clip accuracy run, I imagine that the evidence I presented in this video will be exactly the same as in those videos. But I mainly wanted to cover Exasperation since those are the more famous videos. I don't know if Drip will respond to this in a polite way and prove me wrong, but we'll see where this case goes from here. Alright, that's all I have. I'll get back to making more serious videos soonish, but don't count me on that. See you later!